This week in Game On, Echuca Football Club senior coach Andrew Briggs announces he'll be stepping down at the end of the season.
Leitchville Gunbower's captain Daniel Couwenburg after a win against Elmore.
Echuca senior women's captain Kate Dixon about their season so far.
We've got another round of the handball competition with the Echuca Junior Football Club.
And this weekend's games with Moama and Zach Ross.
Well, a huge result in the GVL this weekend. Echuca going in after that massive loss to Kyabram. They've bounced back for a 9-point win against Euroa, which is huge for the club. Gets their season right back on track, right in finals contention. We knew it was going to be a tough game, plenty of rain over in Euroa, slippery conditions, and the boys, they really dug deep to get across the line. A huge second quarter is what got them over, sort of in front, and they were able to dig in from there and hold on. The effort was the problem against Kyabram, and no problems with the effort this week. Contributions right across the board, not really a player you could pick out and say they didn't contribute, with a lot of younger guys, because we know that Echuca were missing a few guys like Liam Wilkinson, Daniel Willis and Sam Toolman, so they had to really call on those younger boys to step up. They did that, and it's just brilliant, isn't it, for the club to be getting a win like that, but they've got another huge game coming this weekend.
Yeah, look, they probably weren't expected to win given their results against Kyabram, but it just shows the real attitudes of the boys at the club to be able to come back from a loss like that and show some real strength and persistence against a pretty tough side in Euroa. 6 of the 8 goals actually came from Rory Kirkby and Jordan Florence, who are again just really standing out in that forward line. And Kirkby actually kicked that sealer 16 minutes into the last quarter, and he's certainly brought a lot of strength to the side up in that forward end. Simon Buckley was probably the best form we've seen him all year, and I would say even better form than his 2016 Morrison medal winning performance, so that's a real contribution to the club there. Again, with Kane Morris, they're up there in the best, and it's guys like those that week after week continue to bring this team across the line and get them the victories they need.
Yeah, that's right. Another huge game, as we said, against Benalla this weekend, and it comes after an announcement just yesterday where Andrew Briggs has said that he won't be coaching the side in 2017. We had the chance to catch up with Andrew yesterday to hear his thoughts on that decision.
Yeah, it was just a decision that I made probably, I've been thinking about probably 6 or 8 weeks, and about a month ago, around that sort of Seymour game, decided that I think this year will be the last one, and we'll step away at the end of the year and use the time to pursue other interests and do other things in life. The club wasn't in a great position when I took it over, so really there was only one way, and that was up, which was I guess it was a bit of time for me to grow into the role in the early days and use the time to work out who I am as a coach and what works, and I've been able to do that. Probably the last 2 years has sort of seen some rewards that have come our way a little bit. So we sat down and we made goals at the start of the season, and we're still looking to achieve those, and we're looking to finish really strong. And that's one thing I didn't want to lose. The coaches will come and go, and I want the players to stick around and really fight for the club and really work towards the common goal.
Well, thank you for that, Briggsy. We're going to move on now to the Heathcote and District League, where we had LBU going up against Huntley, and a pretty disappointing result for LBU. They went in with those 3 wins, but it was always going to be a huge step up in class, playing a Huntley side with a lot more experience than those teams that they had been beating. They did get a really good start, LBU, which was sort of looking like they might be able to keep that run going, keep that attacking play, that free-flowing footy that's been winning them games, might be able to keep that going, but couldn't quite keep it going after the first quarter. And it sort of made Peter Gibbs ask, if you can do it for 1 quarter, what's it going to take to be able to do it for 4? I think that's something obviously going to come with experience, and something maybe we'll be seeing from LBU in the rest of the season or in the coming years. But another game in that league was Leitchville Gunbower, and it was just business as usual for them. A massive 170-point win against Elmore, and that's pretty much what you'd expect when you go up against a team like Elmore, when you're Leitchville Gunbower with a ton of experienced, talented players. 93 points up at 3-quarter time. It wasn't quite enough for them. They piled on 85 points in that last quarter, which is pretty absurd. 17 marks inside 50 and just complete midfield domination. So it's great. And look, it might have been against a not a quality opponent in Elmore, but if you can play a last quarter at the same sort of level against a big team, that could win you a final against a North Bendigo or a Colburn Admiral or something like that. So brilliant for Leitchville Gunbower.
Yeah, we actually caught up with the captain, Daniel Couwenburg, following that game. His thoughts here.
Yeah, well, look, the scoreboard, I think, says it all. We had a pretty good win. We said at half time we really wanted to come out and put them away. 30 goals was our target, and we got there. So it was good by all the boys. We righto. There we go. Yeah, all the boys that has picked up on the skills, and we started delivering to our forwards the way we wanted to, and now we're kicking the goals and doing the job for us down there. So very good. We've only dropped the one game to North Bendigo. It was a 12-goal deficit to them. So look, that's our main challenge. We want to make sure we're up to that level come finals time.
To the Pecola League now, and another solid performance from Pecola United with a 102-point win over Jerilderie. It was actually one of their best scoring performances by far, 23 goals to 6, which we haven't seen a lot for Pecola. A lot of that came off the boot of Taylor Beard, who's been quiet in recent weeks, but he really shone through in this game. He's always been a very good finisher for Pecola, and he showed that again on Saturday, and a solid contributor through that middle of the field. But it was the midfield who actually were the shining light for Pecola United on Saturday. They were able to deliver that ball to forwards like Taylor Beard in positions that enabled them to hit the scoreboard well. It's guys like Clinton Barnes, Adam Jorgensen, Marcus Walsh and Tim Scadden who each week continue to set up those forwards and bring the ball down from the defensive line across to Mathiara. And, you know, if you can base the game on one quarter, it would have been a win for Mathiara, but instead it was a 37-point loss. 45-point loss to Mathiara against Denny Rovers, who continue to be strong this season. In the third quarter, they were able to make up for a 37-point margin to just be 9 points trailing heading into that last quarter, but the Denny Rovers just ran away with it in the end, 6 unanswered goals. Coach Phil Hazelman, though, he was pretty happy with the performance they considered they had a lot of players out of position, a lot of inexperience out on the park, and Darcy Robertson, he was their biggest contributor with 4 goals, and up the back, Reece Costello, he kept the really dominant Terry Lombard to just 6 goals, which, you know, you can say, 6 goals, that's quite a lot, but compared to his performance against Mathiara in the games, you know, he's always kicked a lot of goals, and apparently those 6 goals were pretty much his only touches for the game, so massive thumbs up to Reece Costello there. Well, we'll kick off the netball in the GVL, and Echuca wasn't their best game on the weekend, going down to Euroa by 13 goals, and it was the only time where their youth and experience really hurt the girls at the weekend. You know, they were just able to create a lot of turnovers, but then they just threw it away, which in the end you can't do against top sides like Euroa, who actually had a lot of handy ins this week with Maisie Barlow. She was a really good mid-quarter and just added a lot of drive through the court there. And they also had 2 more experienced girls in from their first round encounter, which saw Echuca actually get the upper hand on Euroa. She made it a pretty difficult task for Erin Hill in centre, but to Hilly's credit, she held her own and really didn't get sucked into any of that scrappy play that can often be seen. Dryly, she was reliable as ever under the ring, and she's combining really well with Liv Hannon in that goaling ring. They've really settled into their rotations this year, and they're opening up a lot of space for their mid-quarters. Again, probably their biggest downfall was in the last quarter when Coach Katie Frame said she made a change-up that didn't quite work. She took off Chloe McKell from goalkeeper, and you know, Eve Gregor, to her credit, she did really good, but it was just a really tall goal shooter that they'd put against. And when you take out that height, it makes it pretty difficult to stop those goals coming in. Across in the Pecola League, and it was a 1-goal win for Pecola United over Jerilderie, a must-win for them, which they really needed just to keep their finals hopes alive. A couple of really tough games coming up, so to keep in that top 5, they really needed a win that week. And then to Mathiara, and they showed not a similar form that they have been this season, with another 58-goal loss to the Denny Rovers, who, you know, they're really one of the top sides this season, and they continue to be after that performance.
Yeah, awesome. We move to the Heathcote League. LBU, a pretty close 4-goal win over Huntley. I think it was really close throughout the game, and they're just sort of always in front, which is great for LBU. It's a really close sort of final set up at the moment in the Heathcote League, so every win is absolutely vital, and to get one against Huntley is huge. Jane Reid and Becca Eade in defence, brilliant, and Paige Randall, she's back and she's getting better by the week. Leitchville Gunbower, a 30-goal win against Elmore, and that's, again, what you'd expect when you come up against Elmore, who haven't had the best of seasons. Just a really professional win, able to build that lead early, hold on to it from there, and as we said, it's a very close competition, so every win is vital.
Now to this week's fixtures with Zach Ross.
Hey guys, I'm Zach, number 17, the wingman for Moama under-14s in the Murray Football League. Last Thursday, before training, I had an idea. I thought to mix it up, I decided I might try running down to the oval to meet the boys before training. The problem was, I got about halfway there when I stopped and realised that I actually wasn't fit enough to run the whole way. The worst part about it was that it was also too far for me to walk back home. So I was in a little bit of trouble. As luck would have it, my coach passed me at that exact time, and guess what? He gave me a lift. Now I thought that was a very well executed plan. Let me tell you about what's coming up this weekend with our local football and netball. It's back to business in the GVL this week. Let's hope the Echuca Bombers fly high when they take on Benalla at home. Good luck, Bombers. Continuing on into the Heathcote League, Leitchville Gunbower will play Heathcote at Gunbower, and LBU will host North Bendigo. Across in the Picola League, Picola United will play Tokemall at home, and the Mathara Timbercutters have the bye. Now, a bit closer to home, in the Murray League, the Tongala Blues play Nathalia away, and in the game of the round, Echuca United play Moama in a cross-border clash at Echuca South Oval. Go Moes!
Well, there's only 2 rounds left in the Northern Country Women's Football League before finals, and Echuca has certainly secured their position in the top 4. They're currently in 3rd position with 3 games clear of the bottom 4 sides, and their most recent win over Mooroopna went a long way in their finals berth.
Yeah, that's right. It was a huge 16-point win against Mooroopna on Sunday, and that's the second time they've beaten them this season. So they're 6-2 now for the season, and I don't think people would have been expecting that. A very new team, Echuca, this season, but they've certainly proved a lot of people wrong. Sophie Douglas, again, outstanding, 4 goals up forward for her. Kelly Walker and Kim Mundy, they were also hitting the scoreboard, as did the captain, Kate Dixon.
Yeah, look, you'd be pretty happy to be leading that team this year. We actually caught up with the captain to see how her team's gone so far.
We knew that we'd be a tough competitor, but after this week's game against Mooroopna and we really had to dig deep, we got over, which guarantees us a final 4, so that's fantastic. Mick's very good. He always thinks we had a great chance, and because the girls have listened really well, I think we always thought we'd play finals, but if we can finish second and get that double chance, that'd be great. The women's competition, I think it's going to grow. They said Nathalia are looking at maybe putting in a girls team. I mean, there's a few things that they could change from the board side of things, but that's getting nitty gritty. I think it's been fantastic. I think it'd be fantastic because we're an inaugural Echuca women's team, and if we could bring home a premiership, I think it's just going to be a really mad Monday.
Well, best of luck to those girls for the remainder of the season. They're going to be back at Mooroopna this Sunday, taking on the Shep Bears.
Well, that just about brings us to another end of the show. But before we go, make sure you tune in next week to riverineherald.com.au and to the Rivs Facebook page for another edition of Game On. And be sure to pick up your edition of Monday's Riv to see if you're the American Hotel's next face in the crowd.
But stick around now. We're going to bring you another edition of the Echuca Fashion Centre Workwear First Handball competition, this time at the Echuca Junior Football Club. All right, guys, we're here at the Echuca Junior Football Club for another episode of the Echuca Fashion Centre Workwear First Handball competition. We're here with Echuca White this week. Top 3, we get 3 handballs each, and the top 2 from these 5 will be going through to the semi-finals. Let's meet today's competitors.
G'day, I'm Josh Swinton.
I'm Zach Casey. I'm Joel Priestley.
I'm Matthew Gleeson. I'm Matthew Sims.
So our 2 minutes today we have Josh, well done mate, there's $20 for you, and Zach,
Thank you.
well done mate, $20.